But I can see Kevin, Jen, Melissa, raise your hand if you're ready to go. Are you ready to go? Ready? Okay, here we go. So I'm going to share this deck. This deck is available. There it is. That's a QR code if you want to grab a screenshot of that, or the tiny URL. Maybe somebody will paste that in for me. I guess I could do it most easily, but look at the tiny URL. Get it? OCQ Librarians. Kind of easy to remember. Isn't it amazing that I got that? Anyway, OCQ Librarians, tiny URL. All this stuff is there, and I'll show it again at the end, and maybe somebody can pop in. I can't do it unless I close this out, and I want to get started. This is me. I was in education 30 years, various levels, started as a bilingual math teacher. I did other stuff, and then I'm on the California Library Foundation Board, as is Leslie, the Student Media Festival Board, which started, left the classroom to work in the Media Library Center long ago. And people say, do you have a picture? And the answer is yes. Here's a picture from the first yearbook where I taught. I had glasses and my beard was dark then, of course. Anyway, I'll let you see this because it's also another chance to get the URL and the QR code. But this I made in DALL-E, which is kind of fun. And that's the session that Joe and I just did. Generative AI. Librarians have been leaders for a long time. These are two librarians I admire. Nicole Henning, who wrote a book, this was 2017, thinking we should be using these artificial intelligence agents as smart speakers, and libraries really should have. It's another woman. And in California, this is not to be taken lightly. California librarians, school librarians, really need to be active and bold and do great stuff. And that's why we're doing this session. Here's one of my favorite libraries. It's the Library of, what do you think? The Library of Congress. Thank you. When I think of that, I think of all these kids. And one of the ways that we are engaging kids as libraries is with the California Student Media Festival. The last session, we talked about this a lot. It's the oldest one in the country. It's been around 58 years. It was started by librarians in Orange County 58 years ago. We've kept the fire. You can volunteer to judge. All this is in the link in the handout that you saw. For 3 years now, 4 years, we've had an artificial intelligence category. One of the other categories we've had, though, was the importance of school libraries. So if you are into libraries, then this is a video you should see. The link is in the handout, but I'll just give you a taste of it. It was made by students in a video challenge sponsored by the California School Library Foundation. So here's what it looks like.
School libraries. Students often take them for granted, so you may be asking, why are they so great? Well, my friend, I'm here to tell you about just that. Research shows that providing K-12 students with a library staff
This is a short version. I cut it up.
enhances test scores, reading ability, and information literacy.
10 more seconds.
With this, we arrive to the main advantage of school libraries. Strong school libraries build strong students.
So isn't that great? I think if you're into libraries, to have students make videos that say that is really good. So it's one of the things we do. All right, going for AI, talking about that. This is what's describing the California School Library Association on the CDE site. It says librarians collaborate to ensure that students are effective, responsible users and creators of ideas and information. This is the territory of AI. It's exactly what AI does. People are scared to death of AI in education. They have no idea what's going on. Scary is an opportunity. Scary is an opportunity for people to go into the library where it's safe and friendly and a warm person is there, a human. This is a great opportunity for school libraries for that very reason. Think of it as scary. We're going to cover a lot of stuff. We're not going to get to all of it, but all the links and everything are in this Google Doc, and that's why we keep pasting that URL in the chat. Anyway, I'm going to skip through some of this, but one of the things when people say, oh, should kids be able to use AI? The answer is yes. And if you want to, it's a tool that they're going to need to do. So they do it like they do everything else. Cite it. If you're using an AI, here's, for example, again, the slide in there. Describe this. This is what the kid did for ChatGPT. Just ask ChatGPT to describe the symbolism of the green light in the book, The Great Raspberry and the Great Gatsby. And it did. So this is the way you do the two different kinds of citations. So you'll look these up, the links are there. But once you do a citation, and a tip that I had to Joe Marquez for this, then we've always let people use other tools. We just have to give credit for it, right? So research, content creation, it's totally library territory. It's like a VCR. AI is just an empty box until you put something in it. And remember the heydays of VCRs back in the day? You went to the library for your media. Stuff goes to a library media center. And that's what we can do now. And AI is empty till you put a prompt in it. So knowing that there's a prompt there, let's look at what that is. First of all, just the basics. You get ChatGPT, you go here, 3.5 is free. All these links are there. It is very smart. It's passed the bar. It's done everything. Although if you look at the one thing it had trouble doing was AP calculus. So if you had trouble with calculus, you're not alone. It's a thing that ChatGPT has the most trouble with. Anyway, there you go as a math person. How did it get so smart? Here's why. This is my since I since I moved out of my one-room apartment, I've been buying a lot of books. And here's all the books in my house. They're all here, and here's the book by my bedside, and I've also got the Kindle. If I've read all these books, think how smart I must be. So here's what ChatGPT has read. All of those books, and 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 all of those books. So it's also able to decode podcasts, listen to blogs, anything that's out there, it's able to get radio, YouTube. It takes all this stuff in. If you just look at the text, here's a question for you, answer in chat. It was trained on 45 terabits of text data. This is ChatGPT 3. How many lifetimes would it take a human to read 45 terabits of text? What do you think? And don't give the answer already, Mr. Davidson, but there it is. That's what PowerPoint does to me sometimes. Anyway, the answer is half a million lifetimes. And of course, ChatGPT 4 is growing and growing and growing, and the number increases. So it's going to be smarter than all of us. What's the difference between 3 and 4? 4 is $20 a month. That's the difference. So eventually, we're going to write grants for this. So here's just a thing to remember. If I went, because I thought I knew this guy, I saw him online. It gave me 2 completely different bios for him. I asked for a bio once, asked for a bio twice. Different birthday, same guy. That's not a common name, right? It also gave me 2 different colleges where he was born, all with different dates. This is what we call a hallucination. So when you work with generative AI, remember G is for generative, it's making it up. That's what generative means. It's making it up. So it's great for content creation. It's great for other stuff. But remember, it's making stuff up. This is ChatGPT. That means that if you're a lawyer and you used it to write a brief, this is actually true. ChatGPT put in all these references. It made them all up. It went online and saw that briefs have things like Johnson versus Mayberry, or Ford versus the Joneses. So it just made up stuff. The judge fined him $5,000. Everybody was annoyed. So remember that it's generative, the first of the legal issues. There are other things besides ChatGPT. Bing doesn't tell you exactly how it did stuff, but it does tell you where you can learn more. Neva tells you where it got stuff from. So there are different AIs, but they all are evolving very quick. Now, let me show you something that's very cool. And this is if you use Bard. So someone comes in, they want information, and they're creating something because it's a generative AI, right? It's making it up. If you use Bard, I ask, and here's where I'm using AI to use AI. AI can help me with prompts, help me with other stuff. But I ask Bard, when the school librarian is a leader in AI use, the school can be here's my prompt at the top. Tell me the impact on a school that results when a school librarian is a leader in AI. And here's the answer. Increased student engagement, improved teacher productivity. All these things are things that it went out and searched for. If you use Bard, at the bottom of its resource, there's a little Google prompt, because Bard is made by Google. If you click that, it checks every statement in the result against the internet. In other words, it takes the first, there's a statement up there, greater equity and inclusion. It can be used. It went out and searched. Green means it found a lot of substantiation for that. The orange means very contradictory. This may not be true. So it searched and then went out and took all of its statements and did a Google search for all of them in a second. Boom. So now you know that the green statements, if you're working with someone, the green statements are very positive. The orange statements you should check again. So even though it's generative, we can do stuff. So isn't this exactly what we do in the library? We help people do that. So anyway, that's the deal. That's the prompt. And the prompt is the thing. So let's look at this visually. It's more fun to do this with visuals. DALL-E is a generative AI that does images. DALL-E is free. There's a really cool version that's not free, but let's look at the free one. DALL-E, I generated all these images with. What was my prompt? I generated this one too. And here was my prompt, teacher ancient Babylonian mosaic. So I said those things, and those things are nouns, adjectives, and a visual style. So all these are key to writing a good prompt, and prompt generation is what you do to get good material out of an AI. The prompt. Now there's ways that they can help you write prompts. We're getting that in a minute. And you can see, look, what's that fourth picture? It's not a mosaic. It's not even close. That's a hallucination. It doesn't really know. So here's a fun prompt. Every US picture of every US president, but as a Pixar character. You want to see that? Yes, we do. Okay, I'll show you. So here they are. This was done by a guy, he posted it on Twitter, but all of these are, we always, can you have a picture of a US president? I've seen this one so often. I know it. Thank you. I know what it looks like when Abe Lincoln wears a hat. Well, all these are done as a Pixar character. So isn't that fun? So a prompt can make a huge difference in images, in text too, but we're using images because it's more fun. You're running out of time. Oh, no, I'm not. We've got more time. Anyway, this is, if you ask for Teddy Roosevelt as a trust buster, this is what you get, because strong, it knows Teddy Roosevelt, if you search, does all these things. So this might be the picture you get from Teddy Roosevelt, but remember, it made it up. That's actually not what he looked like. So it's the prompt. You come in looking for an image, or coming in looking for research, or to create, or to write a letter. These are what AIs are really good at. It's the prompt. So just again, sticking with the visual images, if you ask for the photo of a Samoyed dog with its tongue out, hugging a white Siamese, you're doing nouns here. You're doing a visual style, which is a photo. You're doing adjectives, all this stuff that we do anyway as educators, and here's what you get. Now remember, they're kind of cool pictures, right? But none of those are photographs. It did not go out and find photographs, should they exist, of a white Samoyed dog hugging a white Siamese cat. No one's taken these pictures. It generated them. So that's kind of cool. But it did it because it had the prompt that gave me what was necessary. Okay, so what might have been the prompt for this? And again, we don't really have time to explore, but think about it. What would you ask if you wanted to get these prompts? And I was going for trying to duplicate, tell you a secret, of the middle top one. I wanted to say, I want to be able to duplicate that for reasons that will get us into legal issues. What might have been the prompt? The prompt was this: dark digital art rendering, full body menacing, Game of Thrones dragon. And usually when we have more time and people supply in the chat stuff they thought was a prompt, they would have made a better prompt than I did. Here's the legal issue, just so you know, because copyright's one of the things that we do. When I asked for a Game of Thrones dragon, it gave me some great stuff, but it meant that, oh, we'll get to legal issues later. The guy that created those, whose picture I'll show you, is suing OpenAI, who makes DALL-E, saying, when you search the web, the stuff you're creating is based on my stuff. Therefore, it's generating new stuff, yes, but it's really looking at my stuff. So that's an interesting legal issue. Those have not all been sorted out yet. Anyway, we'll talk about those in a second. Here's what else you can do with DALL-E. It's very cool. Upload an image. So I was working with the superintendent of Napa County, and I said, do you have a photograph? And she said, yes. She sent me this picture of her at ISTE, where she was, I think, getting an award. This is Barbara Nemko from the county superintendent of Napa County Schools. So I took it, and I remember I could upload an image. So I uploaded it into DALL-E. I used the eraser tool and erased everything else except her face. And then I said, what have you always wanted to be? And she said, I've always wanted to be Tinkerbell in green. And we worked with it a little bit more, in a fairy hat flying over a vineyard. So we first did a fairy. It wasn't really what she wanted. So we kept building on the prompt. The longer the prompt, believe it or not, the better it is. So here we go. And this is the one she picked. But it's kind of fun, huh? Kind of fun. Generated that. Clearly she's been working out and some other stuff. Anyway, so just like you can do it for images, it's analogous for doing it for chat. Other stuff. A lot of people are saying that prompt engineering is going to be the job of the future. Prompt engineering they're hiring right now, and all of us would have to take a big jump in pay if we wanted to become a prompt librarian. But those jobs are out there. If you do a search for prompt librarian, and here's the deal: how much experience can you have? It's only been around for 3 years, so you can catch up. Anyway, so you learn. Let's use AI to use AI with the minutes that we have left. So here is a prompt you can paste into an AI to help you write better prompts. So where do you get this? It's kind of long. It's in the handout. Thank you, Mr. Davidson. No, really, it's what I do. Thank you so much. So all I have to do is go to prompt 2, copy it, paste it into ChatGPT. And what you're telling it to do is help me write the best possible prompt. Because once I've written the best possible prompt, I'll get the best possible outcome to match my needs. So imagine if you could do that when you're looking for film resources or book resources and say, help me get a better way to use the card catalog, the search engines. Like, this helps you do that. It's really wonderful. So I copy and pasted that, and my first prompt, it says, write a prompt for me, and then tell me how to improve it, and then write another prompt for me, tell me how to improve it until I get the one I want. So I pasted that big prompt in, and then it first suggests, here was the thing I said, here's what I want. How can a librarian use ChatGPT to improve literacy? And it came back and said, we think you should revise that based on specific reading skills, scenarios, and consider the role of the librarian, how to do that. What are the specific reading skills? How familiar are students with ChatGPT? These are really critical factors. Can I use it to teach literacy? Well, how much do kids know about the ChatGPT? And then as it got better and better, it asked me, how much time do I have to do this? What languages do the kids speak? So the prompt got better and better and better until finally it spit out, this was the next to the last one, this is what I'm asking it to do. It said, here's what you want to tell me to do. So I said, okay, do this. Develop a clear lesson plan for a 1-hour time block, including specific. Anyway, so you see that it helped me tell it what to do. So that's prompt engineering. It's all huge. If you want examples of this, because who doesn't want examples? These again are in the handout. Prompt 3 is a prompt that says, give me 3 good prompts and 3 bad prompts. And there's a bad prompt. What's evolution? Because it's too vague, right? If you ask to explain natural selection, that's better anyway. So if you want to give kids examples, or you want yourself to know good prompts from bad prompts, because remember, prompts are the key to generative AI, you can do that. So again, play with it. I wish we had more time. We could play with this more. This is another source for prompts. Joe Marquez was my co-presenter in the last room until 7:15. I feel this is wonderful. And this is a Padlet that he created that has prompts to share, that has also stories and comments and lots of other stuff. So his presenter resources are there. So I put his presenter resources in my presenter resources, and I gave him credit. So there you go. Isn't that nice? How many of you are glad? Raise your hand. I'm so glad I got 2 sessions worth of thank you. Okay, I'm waiting for Jen. Come on, Jen. Okay, thank you, thank you. So here's it. So one of the prompts in here, by the way, if you scroll down to the prompts, look, notice there's prompts for music teachers, there's prompts for math, a lot of other stuff. But here's a really cool one. There's one for biology, there's one for evaluating an essay, but there's a really cool and really big prompt, the super prompt from Ethan Mollick. I don't know Ethan, but it's a really good prompt because it's helping ChatGPT be a tutor. It's telling it to be nice. It's telling it to ask about their learning level. It's asking about the topic. So it's asking you to build a really good, helpful tutor in the library for basically any kind of kid. So where could you find that prompt? What do you think? Come off mute. Where could I find that killer prompt? Andrea, I know you know the answer.
In your tiny URL.
Yes, thank you. And that tiny URL, it's there. So that's it. Let's look at, hopefully we'll have more time to play. If you have, anybody have any questions you want to put in chat? I'm sort of not looking at chat because I'm so easily distracted. Okay, oh, this is all good.
You have 11 minutes. Keep going.
So here's one of the legal issues. When you generate images like that, in fact, what if you use ChatGPT to even generate some of the story? Can you still copyright the book? And the answer is yes. So the copyright issue in February this year basically said you can't copyright the images you made, or I'm assuming, or the text you made, because it's not made by a human. And the law says it basically has to be a human. So that's not copyrightable stuff. But his book, Zara of the Dawn, is copyrightable. So, and kids have done this already. Joe's kids wrote a children's book. It's all very cool. So you can copyright the book, the topic. I know, Leslie, you're there. You have stuff to say on this too, but you can't copyright the images. So that's one of the things. Here's the dragon that he did at the top. My friend, you see his name right there. And I'll just call him Greg, but he did the dragon on top. So I am sure that when I did a search for dragons in a lake of fire, or my prompt was a little different, that probably, you see the likeness there? You can see why Greg would say, I think you're stealing my stuff. So the question is, and this is for the Copyright Office and ultimately for Congress to decide, and then ultimately Supreme Court, who have made good decisions on these things and some questionable decisions, in my humble opinion, to say, if it's derivative, because if it's derivative enough, it's okay. But if it's straight derivatives, is this cool or not cool? Anyway, so he's suing OpenAI. These authors and many others now have joined the bandwagon. But if I ask ChatGPT to write a story, or I write a story and then say, rewrite this as if it was written by Sarah Silverman, it'll do that. So Sarah Silverman goes, what? In fact, in the handout, you'll see, I'm not going to talk about it, but somebody that was on the an intern for the Los Angeles Times editorial staff had ChatGPT write stuff in their style, each individual author's style. And they said things like, oh, when did I write this? I don't remember that. Anyway, so very good. So those are the legal issues. It is creative. We can think it's going to knock stuff off. So yes, we do have to worry about where those images came from. But here's something else to know. An MBA, they did this in an Ivy League school. Part of what they do with their MBA is people have to pitch. The students have to pitch products. And they ask AI to pitch products. And they evaluated them both on a rubric they already had. And they said the results weren't even close. ChatGPT was better at creating new products than the MBA students. So it's a tool we need to learn to use. All right. Again, these are in the prompt, but 3 more minutes. If you use AI to use AI, the prompt is a new skill. So if you write this as a prompt, a group of people playing volleyball on the beach, but you tell ChatGPT in the next sentence, please provide more details. Should be crazy. People on the beach. So it wrote a new chat, group of people playing well, and I pasted that into DALL-E. Now I'm using the free versions. The paid versions do this automatically, but I did this with the free version, and there's the picture that it gave me. So that's pretty cool, pretty wild, pretty imaginative, pretty damn pink, for my opinion, but it was very creative. So you can be creative with it. These are important tools. You got a lot to work out, but anyway, you can do all that stuff. This is a guy that used he uses DALL-E, and he asks people what design they want. He creates the design in DALL-E, and then he projects them onto their shoes and then paints it onto their shoes. So it's an artist making unique stuff, but using an AI. And he says does it all the it's all the time. Saves him so much trouble, right? But the shoes are great. The people are happy. So you can do stuff like this. Again, it's all there. I'll just show you this video. Got one more minute, but because you're librarians, this is stuff you should see. This is Bard. This is a week, maybe 3 weeks old. Bard is Google. Bard can be used to search your Gmails. To find something you know is in there somewhere, it'll find it. It swears it doesn't keep it, but uses it inside. So you're using an AI for your own as a personal thing. Here it is.
It's hard to make an idea come to life when the information you need is in different places. But now you can collaborate with the world's information and your own, all in one place with Bard. With extensions, Bard can now connect to Google's apps and even gives you the option to pull in your own information.
Look
Make
at
it
this.
all come together.
Here's somebody doing a search for
Making a plan.
Harper Elementary. Here's the summary of the Gmails from the school. Crazy hat day. Oh, as long as we're here, give me some ideas for a crazy hat. So you get the idea.
Or when you're prepping for the big day. Or when
Anyway,
you want to make sense of something.
pulls up examples from YouTube. It sees the picture.
Bard can even help you make memories.
Anyway, so people have done this and it's actually true. You can find, so you could get a summary of email from somebody else and it would find it for you. Don't you think that's kind of a game changer? Bard is also the one that Googles its own results so you can see how accurate it is. So why is that? It's because OpenAI could eat Google's lunch. Google has, I think, last I checked, let's say 94% of the search. Each percentage point is worth $1 billion if you do the math, roughly. So if people go to ChatGPT instead of Google, the financial implications are huge. So Google made Bard, and Bard for free is not doing anything for them. Anyway, so here's more of this stuff. These are examples from an AI of how school librarians can lead in AI use. I think they're pretty good suggestions. Do a professional development workshop. You've got this 30-minute extra, this video is going to be here. Steal it. Just take the ideas. This whole deck is in the resource. Take it all. Do your own stuff. Support students, advocate. So it's really cool. How many of you think that you could be that person at the school? Okay, good. So then I'd like you to raise your right hand. This will just take a minute. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly swear. Okay, I know. I'm looking at you because I taught middle school. I look at people anyway. I solemnly swear when I return to my school or district, I will identify or become the artificial intelligence coordinator.
Identify or become the artificial intelligence coordinator.
And duties consist solely of paying attention to what goes on. So here's the deal. What does a coordinator have that you don't have? A name badge. So I have actual name badges that I will send to you. They look like that. If you email me, I will send you an actual name badge. I'm going to close out of this in a second. Let me stop sharing. Here's what it looks like. Look, right there. I have these. This offer is good for the next hour only, because you know people are going to start pushing this out. So if you'd like this, and look, it's a good one. It's magnets. See, it's magnets. Not kind of pin that's going to push through your knit. No, this is a pin. So if you'd like one, again, I'll go back and we'll share that screen. If you'd like one, all you have to do is, where is it? Here we go. All you have to do is do the send me that email. Look, it's my whole deck. Just send it to there, and that's what it'll look like. So there you go. Oh, not September. Sorry, I forgot to change the date. Here you go. This is the handout. Everything is there. Don't forget, you can email me and I will send you. I'll pay for the postage. We can thank Discovery Education for these. Thank you, Discovery Education. So there we have those. Please take one. One year they were out of black, so I had to get rose. Because during the pandemic, these things like tripled in price. So I had to buy rose. So these are the rare ones. You're getting the black one, just so you know. You're getting the black one. All right, so that's it. I'm stopping sharing. Andrea, I know this is the last session, but there are door prizes to get. Thank you guys for being there. If you want to tell me anything in the chat, I'll read it, because you know I'm a sucker for that stuff. Thanks for the applause, and even Jen, thank you for that applause.
Thank you, Hall.
You're very welcome.
As
It's a lot
always.
of fun. Let's